Thank you. Mr. Pico, Louisiana is seeking to get primacy for Class 6 wells. I mean, this is like a year overdue. I think literally maybe 2 years overdue. It's just amazing. And we're told, the governor and I were on the phone with Mr. Regan not long ago, or I guess it was a long time ago, maybe 8 months, maybe 6 months, in which it was intimated we were about to receive. We still haven't received. What's the holdup? Louisiana apparently is a model for many aspects of the application, and we still haven't received. Can you tell me why not?
Senator Cassidy, first I want to say I appreciate your concern about the primacy process and the number of applications that are currently under review. I share that concern, and we're working hard to provide that process. And we're following the rule process that we've articulated, which is we've public noticed the rule, and now we've got 66,000 comments, and we'll be responding to each and every comment.
But you reopened the public. Do I recall that you reopened the public? I mean, you'd done it, you completed that, and then you reopened it? Excuse my frustration, but I mean, I get the intent, I get the impression you don't want to give us primacy.
Sir, we are fully committed to this primacy pact.
And why did you reopen?
Louisiana. We reopened it because Louisiana submitted additional documentation to us regarding the application, and we wanted to make sure.
That must be something that was solicited, because as far as the governor was concerned, we were about to announce that we were going to receive it, and boom, it's reopened. So I'm thinking that there may have been something like, kind of like, we need to hear from you guys again.
There was a change in the statutory provisions in Louisiana that Louisiana submitted to us, and in order to make sure that the primacy for Louisiana was fully defensible, we've public noticed that, and we are did it for an additional.
Can I ask? My staff tells me that what said that? The filing said that no changes were needed because the application addressed the changes in the law. So I'm hearing that that I'm getting mixed messages here. And I'm getting a sense that I'm hearing an excuse as opposed to that which was actually offered. And I don't mean to be kind of like obnoxious about it, but how long does it take EPA, if you don't have, the state doesn't have primacy, how long does it take the EPA to permit on average a Class 6 well?
The permitting process takes approximately 2 years, sir.
So, okay, so Louisiana has a direct air capture. We're trying to sequester carbon. We're trying to achieve the goals that have been laid out there. And we've met all the goals, and I'm told that your filing said that we had accommodated our change in law by our application, but instead it's been reopened. Tell me why I shouldn't be incredibly frustrated with EPA.
We are interested in ensuring that the primacy application is fully defensible, and now we're past the public comment period. We received 66,000.
And how long will it take to review those 66,000?
We're in the end stages of this process.
So in stages, I used to talk to medical students, and they would say about 2. Can you tell me what in stages mean? Is it a week? Is it 2 weeks? Because it's been 2 years. So is it a month? Can you give me a time frame?
Senator, I certainly appreciate the frustration that you have with the process, and we're all very interested.
Now, can you just tell me what's the time frame? Because I have limited time.
We're hoping in the near future. Once
the near future doesn't mean anything to me. Is it a month? Is it 2 months? Is it a week?
We will continue to ensure
that is a non-answer, and you know it. Can you give me a month?
Senator, we're committed, fully committed to issuing primacy for Louisiana, and I want to make sure that—
I hear you say that, but I see no evidence of it. No evidence whatsoever, and you won't give me a straight answer.
Senator, we've finished the process except for the part where we're responding to all the public comments, which is required in that process.
If you got 66,000 of them, how long does it take you to respond to 66,000 comments?
Well, we've been working to do that, and we'll continue to work on it.
I'm sorry, I apologize. I have to move on because I'm not getting an answer, and you know I'm not getting an answer. Mr. Crabtree, another bit of frustration. Louisiana had a hydrogen hub application, which made all the sense in the world to me. We had the pipelines. We actually had the guaranteed offtake of the hydrogen we were going to make. And we have the Mississippi River, which allows us to ship it around the world. Looked pretty good to me. But it turns out only one hub was approved on the Gulf Coast, even though we have the infrastructure, we have the natural gas, we have the transportation. A bunch were in the Northeast. which is quite remarkable to me, since they don't have typically the advantages we do. And yet then I heard that the merit reviewers paid by DOE to judge applications, in some cases did not ask questions or comment upon Louisiana's application. And DOE did nothing about that. Then we were told last week that there was no standardized way by which the questions were supposed to be formed of these applications. There's not a uniform sending of questions or clarifications of any of the 28 hydrogen hub applications. Now, heck, I couldn't help but notice that a lot of the hydrogen hub places were blue states. Then I heard a rumor that they were just trying to spread the love, as opposed to going where there was increased merit. So knowing that I'm frustrated by all this, tell me why I should believe in this process when some of the reviewers didn't even comment or ask questions on the Louisiana application.
Senator, so I was involved in my capacity as Assistant Secretary of the Office of Fossil Energy and Carbon Management, as many of my colleagues heading other offices were, in the development of the funding opportunity announcement for the hydrogen hubs. And we routinely do that with different provisions in the infrastructure bill. But at the point at which it was announced as a solicitation, a funding opportunity announcement, my involvement in the hydrogen hubs process ceased. And as you know, a merit review process of federal civil servants takes over. And even in those funding opportunity announcements that are the province of FECM, the office I oversee, once the FOA is released, I am not personally involved as a political appointee. I'm not trying to dodge your question. I actually watched the hearing. I understand your concerns and all the arguments you laid out. It's and my understanding is that there's a process in place to follow up with the office that's responsible for.
So far, we've not heard from them.
Okay, well, I can take that back, that concern, but my understanding is that you would have the opportunity to address your concerns. The one thing I would like to address, just as someone who is deeply committed to the bipartisan implementation of the bipartisan infrastructure law, we make every possible effort we can to implement these provisions equitably, fairly. And I recognize your support and other members from both political parties for that legislation and how profoundly important it is that all regions of the country benefit. And I think if you look across the implementation of the infrastructure provisions, states like my own of North Dakota, yours, and others who they're deeply red states are very competitive in receiving significant funding and in other areas.
I accept that, but the goal of it was not necessarily to give some to California because California has not received enough. It was to go where you're going to achieve the goals of the legislation, which is to remove carbon from the atmosphere or otherwise create more or lower carbon intensity products. That was actually the goal. And so it should be upon merit, not upon let's make sure everybody gets a little piece of the pie. Whenever the federal government does that, we lose effectiveness. So I'm way over time, and I got to go vote. But
so, Senator Cassidy, I wasn't speaking to the hydrogen provision. I was speaking more generally to our commitment to bipartisan implementation.
Thank you.